Yeah, folks, let's
What
go.
up, Sam the man?
How we doing?
Good.
Hey, I heard we got a new strength and conditioning coach.
Yes, sir. Coach Shu, he's the man.
Where's he at?
Oh, you didn't know? He's right behind Peden.
Really? Like lives behind Peden?
Dude, RV decked out. He's right behind Peden.
What?
You should go meet him. Come on.
Here we go. Tyler.
Sam, how we doing?
Ooh, what a lifestyle here.
Yeah.
Can I come inside?
Absolutely.
Are we cooking a lot in here?
Stouffer's lasagnas, then yogurts and stuff like that. Stuff that's easy to do.
How much longer do you have in here before you make the full transition?
2 weeks.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, let's chop it up. Let's take a seat.
Absolutely.
Tyler, welcome to Athens.
Appreciate it. Excited to be here.
It has been quite the journey the last year or so, going from northern Arizona, New Mexico, and to Athens, Ohio. How do you describe the last year for yourself?
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot on my family, and it's been a lot on myself. But getting back to Ohio, that was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. So we were really excited about it. But yeah, for the last 6 months here, we've kind of bounced around. You know, we were up in Flagstaff, made our way to Albuquerque, and then this opportunity arose, and it was a chance to get back to my wife and I's home state, you know, which I feel like doesn't come around that often in college football. So we were excited.
So yeah, you mentioned an opportunity that you couldn't pass up. Other than the fact that you're returning to your home state, why was this opportunity one you couldn't pass up? Yeah,
so starting in springtime, you know, Coach Albin had reached out, and we got to talking, and one thing that really excited me is, you know, in this business, obviously it takes a lot of your time, right? And, you know, I want to make sure my family, my wife Shelby and Porter, my son, you know, they get all of me first, you know? And so it was really cool talking to Coach Albin in the beginning stages and him talking about, you know, how important family is to him, and he wants families around the facility, and, you know, he takes the kids on an annual fishing trip so the parents can have a date night, and, you know, all the football stuff worked out. Like, we aligned there, you know, but then hearing about how important it was to you know, make sure your family is a part of it, and that if anything was going on, like, you know, go be with your family. That was obviously a really good benefit there that, you know, it's not always the case.
Yeah. A little bit about your background leading up to this. We mentioned some of the stops over the last year, but when did Tyler fall in love with strength and conditioning?
College. Yeah, college. You know, I always thought I was going to go the private facility route and just kind of be a personal trainer and open up my own facility. But then when I got into college and started training, I was a thrower in college. And, you know, I went to a D3 school where, you know, you don't necessarily have all the help. Not that people don't want to, it's just, it's hard to fund at that level. So a buddy of mine and myself became the strength and conditioning coaches for ourselves and the rest of the throwers.
While you were a hammer throw?
Yep. So we were programming and coaching and doing all at the same time. Wow. And what was cool about it was, you know, that's where I like really started to get a grasp on programming, I'd say. Obviously you're constantly improving, and right, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Like, that's all very real. But that's where I finally started to grasp it, because it was the most direct carryover, right?
Yeah.
I did this in the weight room, I threw farther. I did this in the weight room, I didn't.
You got 100+ football players in a weight room, and you're primarily working with a football team here at Ohio. What's an example of something that you look at with an individual to see where they can benefit in the weight room to then lead to them progressing on the field?
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I look at when a freshman comes in, right, that, you know, we aren't going to make all these gains in 1 year, obviously, right? It's a 4 or 5 year development, and I operate it that way. So, I have a system set up, and there's certain metrics that they got to meet every year to essentially test in to the next stage of training to ensure that they continue to improve and we don't hit a plateau and stagnate. So as we're testing those metrics and figuring out, right, there's direct feedback there to the kid to know, okay, here's exactly where I need to get better. And then, right, those happen through, in terms of specifics, right, happen through, once those tests are done, private conversations between me and the athlete, and we're talking about, here's why I think this happens, here's why I think this happens, here's why I think this happened. And that's the hard part. Every human body is different. Every athlete is different, mentally and physically. So a lot of times it takes, just us making sure we're asking the right questions to be able to guide.
Yeah. What's an example of a right question?
I think a scenario I see play out often, right, would be maybe some back pain or some hip pain, and then maybe some mid-level jump testing, right? Maybe some mid-level pro agility testing, and a lot of the times, right, when you move those together, you start, okay, here's his jumps, here's his pro agility, what's his squat look like for a second, right? And so maybe we have an ankle mobility component that's playing along, right? So where it's not just like, oh, he needs to change direction better, or oh, he needs to fix his arms while he jumps, or oh, he just needs to keep his back flat while he squats. Well, maybe it's the ankle causing all these issues, right? So then just making sure we're asking those types of questions, right? Because we can put a Band-Aid on a lot of things if we want to, but if we really dial it into the root of the problem, that's when we can really make some gains and fix some issues we might be seeing.
When you're in the weight room or you're on the turf running agility drills, stuff like that, what's your mindset? Are you high energy? Or are you like, let's go? Like what do you do? Do you have a phrase, or is there something you say?
I would describe myself as a intense stoic. There's a time and a place where I got to turn it up, right? But that doesn't always have to happen. In terms of common sayings, yeah, I mean, no lazy runs is something I use a lot. We hustle around the weight room right now, just based on training, whole team, and the way I've set it up. There doesn't have to be a whole lot of running, but no lazy runs has been something I've used quite a bit in the past.
Okay, so you'll kind of just yell that out. No lazy runs, fellas.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the day, depends on the situation. And I feel like I can read a team decently well, right? So different situations call for different types of conversation, but in terms of like just yelling and stuff, I want to say, like, I'm this crazy yeller, right? I set the expectation or the standard, and then I make sure it's held,
Y'all hear that? No lazy runs. No lazy runs. Well, Tyler, enjoy the rest of your time in this beautiful establishment of the trailer, and then making your transition here to having Athens your full-fledged home.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Boom.